So I'm going to start with Karen. Obviously, The Baxters is based off your best-selling book. You had, over 25 million fans. What was it like when you were first reached out by Roma and their team about making this into, a project for TV?
Well, the Baxters, it's more than 20 books in the series, which is incredibly, like, I look back and I can't believe there's that many. But in the beginning, it was the book Redemption. And I wrote this book, thinking I had maybe five books about this family, the Baxters, a doctor and his wife, and their five adult kids going through the trials and tribulations and triumphs of young adulthood. And when I wrote the first book, my dad read it and he was just my biggest fan. And he said, Karen, he said, this is a great book. I know what you have to do. You need to contact Roma Downey, that Touched by an Angel woman. She would love to make these into a series. And of course, I was in my 20s and I said, Dad, like, I don't know her. I don't know how I would reach her, So anyway, but he said, well, I'm going to pray that you do. Well, 15 years later, 18 years later, I get a call from Roma Downey saying, Karen, I've read the books and I love them. I love the Baxters. And I would be just so thankful if you would give me your blessing to make them into a TV show. That began our journey, and it was an incredible. I mean, obviously, like that, you can't make that up. I mean, you put that in fiction, people wouldn't even believe it. But here we are, and Rome is playing Elizabeth Baxter when the Baxters debut on March 28th on Prime Video. The whole thing is a dream come true.
Well, first of all, I love that your dad was your biggest fan. I have a very close relationship with my dad, and I love that he put it out there into the universe. And, you never know how long it takes for something to come around. But then Roma, obviously, your production company is big in the faith and family space. I'm assuming you were already a fan of the books. What made you decide, like, hey, we have to reach out to Karen. We have to make this project. I want to, play the matriarch. I want to head this up. What was kind of that moment where you're like, I'm going to pick up the phone and call this author?
Yes, well, for many years, people have been saying to me, I wish we had a show like Touched by an Angel back on the air. And so I've always been, looking out for something that might be able to fill that space. But a friend gave me a copy of Redemption, the first Baxter series book. And so I came to it simply as a fan of the books, a fan of the story, a fan of the family. And I just thought, well, maybe I'll reach out to Karen. I don't know Karen. Obviously, I knew of her, and just see if she would, entrust me with her baby. And so I called her up ready to kind of pitch her why I was the person to bring her stories to life when she shared with me the story she just shared with you of what her father had said. And we both saw the sort of providential divine in that. It was such a God moment that we had been brought together for such a time as this. And so it's been a wonderful, we've become good friends during the process, but it was a wonderful collaboration to bring this beautiful family and these great stories to the screen. And I really think it will fill the void in programming for people who want to see a family with the values that we hold dear reflected on the screen. Not a perfect family by any means, in that just because they have faith, it doesn't make them immune to the challenges that life will throw at us. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything will end happily, but because they have of faith, because they have deep love for each other, we see them model family in a way that I don't think that we necessarily see in TV dramas. So I'm particularly encouraged by that.
Yeah, well, it was fate that you two would get together. And I think there is a void right now for that kind of content. And I think, just in watching the trailer and we got a little sneak peek of the first few episodes, it is great to see that, every family, no matter how perfect they may seem, has their struggles, has their, challenges. And it's about that family, being there for each other and helping get through it. So I think that's super important message to get back out there. And, I found it interesting. You guys actually shot this, I believe, in 2018. So obviously, the pandemic might have taken some delays and time in there. So this has been like a long labor of love to bring it to the screen. How does it feel going into this, knowing that, you're about to finally debut this baby? It's in time for Easter, and it's going to be on such an amazing platform as Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I
Even
Yeah.
you
mean,
guys been on that.
amazing. I think that, that yeah, there were a few delays along the way, but we we have to believe that that this is the perfect time, that it was meant for this time, and we're thrilled to have gotten the Easter launch date. It is the season of hope, and The Baxters is a hope opera, and so we're thrilled that Amazon Prime has given us this launch date. I have seen wonderful projects of mine in the past do very well at this time because families are gathered together, and it's our hope that families, when they are already gathered together for the Easter holiday, will curl up on the couch together and share this family show together. And but it's thrilling, Karen, isn't it? After, particularly maybe because we had to wait for a minute or two to get it on, it feels all the more gratifying that it's coming on right
I
now.
think, the world having gone through so much, they're looking for a show like this, where they can see themselves and their family. Obviously, there's themes of, the mother relationship, the sister relationship, what it's like, maybe having challenges in your marriage. How closely did you guys work together on, I guess, the full casting? Obviously, Roma, you're the matriarch in it, but in terms of choosing, the people that were playing your five kids, and Karen, were you involved in the process of like casting who might be playing these roles as you've had to imagine them for so long and in all your 20 books?
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing is that Roma is such an incredible friend and collaborator. So she's so talented. She actually didn't see herself initially playing the role of Elizabeth, but I did. So she heard that and she heard me say, you're the only one who can do it. And she prayed about it, and decided to become Elizabeth, which everyone is going to be so thankful when they see the Baxters because she's perfect at it. But yeah, she involved me along the way. I got to edit scripts. She would ask for, there's certain plot points that aren't identical to the books because we're more current day. They had to be changed a little bit, but they embody the theme and the faith struggle or the hope that those themes back in the day when I wrote them did as well. So it's the same. And when I got to watch the series, honestly, like I could not stop watching. And all I could do was pray that the timing would work out, that eventually, Amazon's Prime Video platform would want it. And, I think that's one of our elements of faith. I mean, Roma and I share a faith that says patience is part of it, like waiting, like God is doing something in the waiting, and whatever people are going through, they may be waiting for whatever it might be, a job or a spouse or a child or whatever. Waiting is a way to develop your trust in God. And this process has done that with incredible fruition as we come into this Easter weekend and we see the Baxters on Prime Video.
Well, I know the fans have been waiting and they're going to be super excited to see it. We wish you guys so much success, and hopefully this is just the start of this series that we'll be watching for years to come. So thank you guys very much for your time today.
Thank you.